The FIA have been stealing all the headlines in what must go down as one of the most boring F1 seasons in a long time. What may have gone unnoticed is the secondary effect of the FIA rejecting Rodin's bid and the apparent glass ceiling in F1. Stick around as we uncover what could have been and reveal the questionable measures F1 is taking to address an apparent failure in the sport. F1 fans got super close to having their first female driver in over 30 years when British racing driver Jamie Chadwick had a confirmed seat in F1. But Chadwick's Formula One seat was officially confirmed by a team that unfortunately had its Formula One entry request denied by the FIA. If Rodin, New Zealand-based car manufacturer, had managed to secure a spot on the grid, Jamie would have had the opportunity to become the first woman in a long time to race in Formula One. Nevertheless, Rodin has made a significant revelation about Formula One's 11th team. Rodin disclosed that its bid to join Formula One was turned down by the FIA. Apparently, Rodin submitted an application to join Formula One in response to the FIA's call for potential F1 entrants to expand the current grid. The company, led by its Australian founder David Dicker, holds a significant stake in the prominent single-seater team, Carlin Motorsport. Rodin released a statement on behalf of Dicker, revealing that their application had been rejected by the FIA. They had made a pledge to include a female driver on the grid, with their top choice being the three-time W Series champion, Jamie Chadwick. While Jamie Chadwick was engaged in racing for Andretti in Indy NXT this year, it appears that Dicker was greatly impressed by her performance. He remarked that she performed exceptionally well during the testing of Rodin's FZ single-seater in New Zealand. If she was available, we would have no hesitation in putting her in a seat. So what does that mean for women on track? In around 2016, former Formula One bigwig Bernie Ecclestone once dropped a snarky nugget by suggesting that female drivers couldn't, not physically, be able to drive a F1 car quickly. During a discussion with businessman Sir Martin Sorel at an Advertising Week Europa conference, the 85-year-old Ecclestone expressed his belief that women might not be taken seriously in the sport of Formula One. While motorsports theoretically allow drivers of any gender, the reality remains that it is predominantly a male-dominated arena. Within this macho realm, you'll find a handful of female engineers, test drivers, and presenters. But when it comes to the racing track, it's predominantly populated by men. Astonishingly, only 1.5% of all licensed motorsport drivers worldwide are female. Yep, we'd agree that this is a deeply entrenched gender disparity. But what's been done about it? German driver Sophia Flörsch advocates for a long overdue reconsideration within the traditionally male-dominated motorsports world. Flörsch, who raced for the Abt Sportsline team in the 2021 German Touring Car Masters, DTM, has an impressive racing background, having competed in the European and FIA Formula 3 championships. Flörsch points out that among racing drivers, there has always been support for her aspirations. However, she emphasizes that achieving equal opportunities is crucial to breaking down the existing gender barriers in motorsport. It is increasingly the older generation that does not approve of a woman succeeding in Formula One, Flörsch told DW. It's the generation that already has white hair on their heads. They come from a different time. There's this image of a tough, sweaty, battle-hardened racing driver who has to be a man. That can't change in their eyes. This season, Formula One teams are set to join forces with the sport's all-female feeder series, the F1 Academy. They'll each select one designated driver who will compete under their team name and flaunt their livery. This decision has been hailed as a milestone moment by Susie Wolff, the series managing director. Said that even a woman cannot see the mascotness of the deal, so every team has a token woman. Wolff holds the distinction of being the most recent female participant in a Formula One weekend. Her final practice session for Williams took place during the 2015 British Grand Prix, marking her fourth such appearance. To find the last instance of a female driver actually competing in a Formula One race, you would have to rewind the clock back 5 decades to the 1976 Austrian Grand Prix when Lella Lombardi made her historic appearance in the F1 race. More recently, in 1992, Giovanna Amati found herself in a Brabham, but after failing to qualify in 3 races, was quickly replaced. But apparently, the idea is that the F1 Academy, established this year, aims to tackle the shortage of women drivers in motorsport and pave the way for a female talent to reach Formula One. Remarkably, but not surprisingly, the sport hasn't seen a woman start a Grand Prix since Lella Lombardi's race in Austria back in 1976. Lella Lombardi and Maria Teresa de Filippis remain the only 2 women to have competed in Formula One since the championship's inception in 1950. Wolff embraced this move as a powerful gesture from the Formula One teams, showing their commitment to the Academy's goals. She stated, "This significant moment not only showcases the widespread support for the F1 Academy throughout the Formula One community, but will also serve as inspiration for a whole generation of young girls to discover the opportunities in motorsport, both on and off the track." The method by which each team will select their designated driver has not yet been disclosed. F1 stated in a release that the other 5 drivers will receive support from additional partners. Following the discontinuation of the all-female W Series last season due to financial challenges, the F1 Academy has persisted in its groundbreaking efforts to enhance female participation and visibility in motorsport. This event alone is indicative of the little faith and support for women in the sport. Had the Academy been one for men, there would be more than sufficient financial support. Formula One's apparent objective is to provide young women with greater opportunities for track time and racing, aiding in the development of their skills within professional teams experienced in nurturing talent as part of the pathway towards Formula One. The aim is to create a more accessible route into Formula 3. Historically, the lack of funding available for young women entering motorsport has posed a significant challenge, and Formula One is striving to address this issue. To facilitate this, Formula One is subsidizing each car with a budget of $150,000, while the drivers are expected to match this amount with their own financial support. However, there is currently no indication as to whether Formula One teams will also be contributing financially towards the costs incurred by the drivers. The decision to finally do away with the tradition of employing scantily clad grid girls in 2018, which coincided with the Me Too movement, served as a stark reminder of the persistent gender divide in motorsports. But even this ban faced many opposition within the motorsports community, as it marked the end of a deeply ingrained and patriarchal tradition that had been cherished for a long time. Which is why recent events and decision regarding Jamie Chadwick's entry to the F1 League is no surprise. There are unbelievable challenges that female drivers encounter on their journey through the motorsport ranks. The biggest among these challenges is the stark reality that women constitute just 10% of competitors across all racing categories, with karting, where most Formula One drivers hone their skills, having only 13% female representation. The financial burden of competition also looms large as a major concern, as investors and sponsors often hesitate to support female drivers in the early stages of their careers. One prominent female driver aptly captures the dilemma, stating, "Some people might assume that being a woman in a predominantly male sport could provide an advantage in securing sponsorship, given the rarity of women in the field. On paper, it should be an advantage, but something seems to hinder large companies from supporting women in motorsport, possibly because they question our credibility." Then, there's the absence of tailored training opportunities for female drivers, lingering doubts about women's ability to excel in high-speed racing, less time on the track, a shortage of role models, and a culture that is often perceived as either unwelcoming or inappropriate. Safe to say, the hurdles that face women trying to join the sport are overwhelming. As a consequence of these challenges, female drivers tend to exit motorsport within a relatively short span of 1 to 5 years, whereas male drivers are more likely to sustain careers that extend beyond 12 years. As a small glimmer of hope, Aston Martin seems to be pushing for some kind of equality. Maybe they're pushing to oust Stroll. Yay, we know Dad would never let that happen. Jess Hawkins achieved a significant milestone by becoming the first woman in nearly 5 years to drive a contemporary Formula One car, for Aston Martin during an event in Budapest last week. Hawkins, a stunt driver who serves as an ambassador for the team, completed 26 laps behind the wheel of Aston Martin's 2021 car, the AMR 21, at the Hungaroring circuit, which hosts the Hungarian Grand Prix annually. In addition to her driving duties, the 28-year-old also plays a crucial role in conducting simulator work at Aston Martin's Silverstone facility. At the private test event, Hawkins and Aston Martin reserve driver Felipe Drugovich, the reigning Formula 2 champion, took turns behind the wheel. While Hawkins does not currently possess the superlicense points required for consideration for a full-time Formula 1 seat, her participation in the car provided valuable insights as she prepares to support the team's entry into the all-female F1 Academy Series in 2024. "It's taken me every bit of blood, sweat, and tears to get here." We hear you, Jess. The former karting champion marked her entry into professional motorsport by debuting in the British Formula Ford at Silverstone in 2014, participating in a one-off event where she managed to secure 2 top 10 finishes. In 2021, she took on an ambassadorial role with the Aston Martin Formula 1 team, and since then, she has been a familiar presence in the Formula 1 paddock. Ambassadorial. Read, glorified mascot. "I stopped racing a good few years before W Series purely because I'd run out of budget to continue on my motorsport journey." She added, "I'll keep pushing for more and, in the process, I want to inspire other women and let them know they should follow their dream no matter what it is." Speed has no gender. You heard it here first.